Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sam Mickey, and for this week, I want to do something to give our podcast audience something like a behind-the-scenes look at who the forum is, right? It's a very large initiative. It's a website. There's online courses. There's this podcast. We have a blog. So many things going on, different community partners, and different academic and activist contexts that we all work in. And so who are we? So I think most people are familiar with our founding co-directors, Mary Evelyn Tucker and John Grimm, but it's not just them, of course, it's a whole team effort. And there's a very large advisory group that the forum has put together in recent years, and it's just dozens and dozens of people. I don't think it's over 100, maybe not yet, but it's still growing. And then we also have a core team, and we meet regularly. We're scattered across the country, and so we meet in virtual contexts. And we had a meeting recently, and I figured I'd give people a little sense of what we look like and the kind of attitudes and opinions we have about our work for the forum. We all really appreciate the idea of the field of religion and ecology, as well as the kind of force behind it, the personality, the action, the activism, the advocacy. So I asked the members of our core team to each share a little something about what the forum means to them. So we'll hear from Tara Trapani, Elizabeth McAnally, Sam King, Anna Thurston. And then we'll also hear a little bit from Mary Evelyn and John in conclusion. So I hope you enjoy it.
So our founders and directors, Mary Evelyn Tucker and John Grimm, are always speaking about the field and the force in religion and ecology. And I feel like that also describes what's special about the forum. First, there's the field itself, with this potent synergy of ecological concerns and connection with the religious, spiritual, ethical. Often when I tell people what I do, the field I work in, they look at me as if I'd kind of grown an antenna out of my head. But when they take the time to delve deeper, they discover what a rich and potent blend it really is, weaving in strands of the historical, cultural, artistic, scientific, as well as very current issues of social justice, eco-justice, climate grief, and so much more. Then there's the force. And to me, the force of the forum is our founders and directors, Mary Evelyn Tucker and John Grimm. They plant seeds wherever they go. I've been in a taxi with them multiple times, where by the end of the ride, they had the cab driver so excited about the idea of religion and ecology that the driver went home and subscribed to our newsletter. They plant these seeds every day with students, colleagues, and through their many speaking engagements all over the world. Their dynamism, commitment, and strength of character have made them a shining light leading the way, not only for all of us here at the forum, but I think for all who work in this field and support their work. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks so much, Tara, and I'll go ahead and pass it over to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, what would you like to say?
Great, thanks, Sam. Well, I've been working for the forum for over 16 years now, and I love our forum team. You're such a special group, and you feel like family to me, and I just feel really fortunate to be working with such extremely talented individuals. It feels like we're all driven in our own unique ways to work toward a flourishing future for our Earth community. And sharing that vision of the great work is really deeply nourishing in these troubled times. And so I just want to say I'm so grateful for each of you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, it definitely does feel like a family in so many ways, although we might not fight as much as the usual family. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to Sam. Sam, what do you have to say?
So I've been grateful to work with the Forum on Religion and Ecology for the last 2.5 years. And I feel so fortunate to be part of an organization that's connecting the head and the heart in a values-driven approach to scholarship and broadening beyond the academy to highlight the grassroots activism and leadership among the world's religions across the world. And I also value the opportunity to be part of an organization that's highlighting the cultural diversity, the multiplicity of voices that are emerging in our time to speak out against climate change and species loss and toxic pollution, and to be participating in building the ethical and spiritual foundations for a flourishing future.
Very nice. Hard to top that. Anna, it's up to you now.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I will say that I have loved our forum branches. To build on everything that Tara and Elizabeth and Sam has said, I love seeing how the work that we're able to create and curate as a forum is an olive branch to not only other scholars in the field of religious studies, but also to religious leaders, religious laity, those who are practicing believers of religion, and the environmental world of all different types of practitioners as well. And then I also love that this work can also not just be a branch, but also like a guiding pole up a mountain to introduce and inspire others to these connections. Echoing Tara, whenever I tell people some of what I do, again, they look like, what? And it takes a while to introduce them, but actually a really easier thing is say, go look at this site, take 10 minutes and just click on stuff. And then usually it's just so inspiring. There's so much places to go. And one of those ways that the forum branches I love doing is through like the online courses I've been able to help design. What an opportunity of a lifetime. And also being able to work with forum partners on different initiatives. And often when I'm in these groups with different people coming from different agendas, I love listening and then pointing out that all of the resources we've already curated as a forum can act as a watershed. Right? When I talk about a watershed, I'm talking about the land area that channels rainfall and snow melt, and it channels it to creeks and streams and rivers. And I like to think of the forum as channeling all these things through our newsletter, through different presentations John and Mary Evelyn do. It channels it to these different waterways, and then eventually outflow points like reservoirs, bays, and the ocean. And so I love seeing this undercurrent of water that we're able to nourish and hydrate and just keep this ecosystem of ideas going. And so, yeah, my background is intentional because it's also like we're a constellation in this big galaxy, people trying to do our best. And I love how orienting this work is. How incredible that we can come here and feel so grounded. So that's some of my favorite parts of the forum.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Yeah, I often refer to it as a hub, which is too mechanistic of a metaphor. And so I'll really like thinking of it as a watershed. That's really beautiful. Mary Evelyn, John, any final thoughts?
Well, we're so moved. And my mother used to say I wear the dark glasses when I moved, so I'll take them off. But it hides the emotion and the love we feel for this group, which is just inestimable, I would say, because the value, the commitment, the intelligence that's offered here, all of you have been our students, and how blessed we are because now you're our colleagues. And that's something we had with Thomas Berry, and it's something we cherish with each of you. You are incredible colleagues, creative individuals, thinkers, activists, writers, and so on. So it's one of the great blessings of our life to have a team like this and to work so closely with you. Thank you so much. I'll put my glasses on again so I won't cry, but we love you all and we thank you.
This is beautiful autumn weather here, and I think in many parts of the country where you all are located too. And I think of the I think of the winter dance season coming up, and as you know, I participated for many years up on the Columbia River and the Colville Reservation, and I remember that because when we would come into that ceremonial, we'd go around and shake everyone's hand in the community. And every time we get together, that's the first thing that comes across my mind is we're shaking hands through this technological medium, and that shaking of hands. Well, a Lakota woman told me once, when you shake hands, something catches. And I think what I've caught from all of you is the community that we've built together and with others. As so many of you have indicated, this work reaches out to others. feel that joy and celebration with every one of you in this work, this field and this force of religion and ecology. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Sam, don't you say something?
I'm going to say one of the things I like the most is this wonderful podcast. So it's okay that nobody else said that. But and yeah, I mean, everything, I totally echo everything everybody said. And I really appreciate, the openness that we have to also having more people join this community all the time. We're kind of a bit of a core team. Of course, the advisory group, massive amount of people, and the other people in the world, the partners that we work with, students who engage this work. It really is tremendous, and really a privilege and a pleasure to be part of it. So thanks for letting our podcast audience have this little peek behind the curtain into the kind of stuff that we do when we get together, even in these kind of virtual mediums. So yeah, I'll leave it there, and we can go ahead and get back to our meeting. Thanks, everybody. So that's the team. I hope you enjoyed this little glimpse into who we are and what we look like when we're on a Zoom meeting together. And it gives you at least a little sense that behind all the academic kind of work and things like activism and advocacy, there's a tight-knit group of people who have a shared sense of meaning, purpose, and vision, and we genuinely enjoy being in each other's company. So one of the things that I hope everybody gets from this podcast more generally is that this kind of work, while very emotionally heavy in a lot of regards, thinking about all the environmental crises going around the world, thinking about the religious depths of meaning in the world, it's also enjoyable. There's a certain pleasure to being able to hang out together, commiserating, and just enjoying each other's time. So I hope you enjoyed that little glimpse. And I'll be back soon with some more episodes for you. In the meantime, take care and be well.